Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of A Toy Kind of Mood, episode 52, the new 52. Travis Moody, your host, and I'm with KJ. What's going on, man?
Hey man, it's just another good day with Toy Kind of Mood. The holiday season's coming up, so it's always a good time for sales, deals, filling in holes in your collection. So that means you might have to cancel a fig or two to make room for the next. Hence the title. It's not what you think it is. We're actually taking it to a different direction. Yeah.
It's toy centric. I think also, KJ, this is the first direct fallout, so to speak, or forced follow up from a previous episode. Usually we don't link episodes, we go in an entirely different direction, but we're going to talk Rancor, man. That has lab, has not lab, Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, Rancor. As the fallouts, you'll see the memes on the screen, you'll see the reactions. It's it's getting to a laughing point at this point, and it's a total shit show, KJ.
It's painful to watch. Return of Jedi is my favorite of the classic Star Wars trilogy. I grew up with that. Born in '82, so my childhood was basically Return of Jedi for the first few years of it. I was excited about Rancor. I was excited about adding it to the collection. Price be damned. But it's all really comes down to value. We're going to get right into it. And this is like a direct sequel. This is basically the Quantum of Solace to the previous episodes, Casino Royale. So we're just going to just go for it, man.
That's it. So right at it, as I checked about 5 minutes before recording, we're at 4,883 backers. I believe it lost. I put 200 plus. I'm thinking almost 300 plus, but yeah. If you look at the comments on, Twitter, Facebook, social media, any kind of Hasbro Pulse or any kind of influencer comments, it seems a lot more than that. But I think also they gain backers. So there might have been 1,000 people who canceled, but then you got, 800, 700 who added on. So it's a strange thing, because otherwise, if we're just going by comments, it's way more than 200 based on everything. I've read way more than 200 negative cancel comments, unless people they're just talking shit.
Well, people, they don't like being toyed around with, no pun intended. It's like these tiers are horrible. We had this grayscale lump of clay in digital renders for the last few weeks. We finally see it painted, and frankly, seeing it painted, that crossed the line for me, because it just looks cheap. It looks like a big Lennart Toys McFarlane Raw 10, but with more articulation. Like, it looks, I'm not impressed by the paint apps.
900, KJ? They promised 900. This looks like 9.
This looks like you took a spray can and just, maybe just miss some spots. I think that, if you have something like Hot Toys, like Sideshow Collectibles, if you have like a maquette, and it would have been static, but it was still $350, I think people would rather get that if it just looked better. Like, there are people out there who buy 1/6 scale statues at this size or something like that for monsters and creatures and whatnot. And it doesn't have to be articulated, as long as it will look good in the photo. I don't know how good a HasLab Rancor would look in a photo with all the things you could add on to it. And even if you had that Gamoran guards and that Luke, it's going to be the guard you already have. It's going to be the Return to Jedi Luke you already have, because it's not going to get to those tiers. I hope you got that creature pack from Shop Disney, because at this point, that's the only way you're going to get Salacious Crumb. It's not going to reach those tiers. That's if this Rancor even gets made, which I don't think it will.
And funny you mentioned those Disney Store things, because I was like, these are the type of toys that I'm going to end up canceling. So it's a kind of a segue for what we're going to talk about later. We're going to go over everything that everything we can really remember. I mean, if we were to go over everything we've ever canceled, this would be a 3-hour WrestleMania length episode. But we'll try to do as quickly as we can. But this would be the highlights of everything we canceled. Starting with this, I canceled this after the last episode we did of A Toy Kind of Mood, which was about 2 weeks ago. It was the last fan first, whatever. And so I had already canceled this thing, and there's no having me back. I mean, unless they cut the price from $350 to $150 or something like that. So there's two ideals here. The stretch goals are not great, but I think everything right here, if you're looking at a 150, 200, it gets backed. it might even reach 19K. But for 350, everything we see here with the paint, the stretch goals, 3 salacious B crumb, as you mentioned. That was not Ula, not the gatekeeper, as you know, as we expected. And then Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, essentially a repaint, repack. It's got a new photoreal face scan, not as
It's a new
good
sculpt. It's a new sculpt.
new
Yeah, it's more than
sculpt.
a repack. It's a new
Okay.
sculpt, but still, it's the
It is,
same
but people
character
are
we
still
already
going to
have.
call it a repack
Yeah.
from the Walmart, you know, Jedi Knight. And everyone expects this Luke without the coin to be repacked in a future Mando wave anyway. There's no way we don't see this in a Mandalorian wave. Right?
If they're going to tool a new Luke figure, they're going to put that back up.
Yeah. So did you ever back this? Did you cancel it?
I did. Yeah. No, I backed it as soon as it debuted on Pulse Con, but it was, I had faith that they were going to do Rancor Keeper, they were going to do Ula, they were going to give you the things to recreate that scene in Return to Jedi. For a lot of kids, or the kids of that age, that was their first Ray Harryhausen moment, right? I mean, it was a tribute to those monster movies that from King Kong or Sinbad and that kind of stuff. Ray Harryhausen's a legend. Phil Tippett, a legend himself, who grew up watching those same movies. So you had like sprinkles here and there of the Sabak chess game scene in New Hope, or the stop motion walkers in Empire Strikes Back. So the Rancor is supposed to represent that new level of stop motion effects, and people getting, you know, with the articulated hands, the ratcheted, you know, shoulders and everything else, even the knees. That was sort of a slight dig towards the Legends team. But still, I was looking forward to people doing their own stop motion things. Like, I was going to get the Rancor. I was going to make my own stop motion videos and put them online. But I'm not now.
No,
you know,
there's no chance. So, all right. So you're Hasbro. You're seeing this. You're seeing the memes, your comments. Do you hold your guard? You ignore it? It's Disney also has their head on your left shoulder, while the fans are on the right and they're far lower on the totem pole too. What do you do if you're Patrick Snyder, Eric, and company? This thing is not getting backed. It may trickle to the finish line on the very last day. Star Wars fans like to spend money. They like to buy things. It's a complete opposite of what we're about to talk about in a minute. What do you do, KJ, if you're this Hasbro Pulse team? How do you react to losing, 200, 300? You lost a lot more, but the numbers show 200, 300 people dropped after, this is essentially what's supposed to get you the 10K, right? So what do you do?
I think you stay the course, you keep the price point, and if it fails, you blame anyone and anything else besides yourself. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think this HasLab's going to get made. If it gets made, it's not going to get to those other tiers, and they'll blame the economy, they'll blame shipping, they'll blame anything, but just not fulfilling the value that this package could have had, giving people the characters that we wanted. We probably are not going to get a Rancor Keeper because they probably can't sell a Rancor Keeper standalone. It would be a waste of tooling. So with Ula, right? Ula is basically a half-dressed dancer slave. You can't put that on a Target shelf or Walmart shelf. That's why we haven't seen Slave Leia. That's why if we do, you're not going to call her Slave Leia. And you're probably going to change the costume to something that fits a 2022 standard, because it's not going to, things are trickier now. So there's a lot that we're not going to see made from Return to Jedi because of that. And it's not going to be part of the Rancor package either. Now, speaking as a Star Wars fan, I was buying lightsabers at Galaxy's Edge. I have a $500 Darth Maul saber. Yeah, Star Wars fans like to spend money, but we like to get our money's worth. And Rancor is not doing that. So I think a lot of the Star Wars community, they're not going to get behind this. And I think this is going to be a bad look for Black Series overall. I was excited about getting a lot of these figures, and I'll go into that as well. We'll segue into that later on. But there are a lot of characters, or a lot of different waves within Black Series I didn't bother collecting because I just don't have the money, and they didn't really give me my money's worth from what I was seeing.
Yeah. I don't even want to add to that. That was fantastic. Speaking of people who don't like to spend money, Yo, Joe, you got the shirt on. They're everywhere. You know, it's old timey blue collar Joe fans who don't like to spend money or the government spends it for them if you're in the military. So G.I. Joe Retro HasLab Sky Striker. We think it's a beautiful thing. You did not back this, correct? Because you're out of the 3 3/4.
Yeah, 118 is a whole nother bag, and I'll get into that once you go over Sky Striker, because man, I want to get this, but I wouldn't stop at the 230. That Sky Striker would be the reason I get thrown out of the apartment.
I think it's great. But I'm a big Joe simp as much as you. So I'm gonna pretty much at this point, I'm collecting 5 lines of GI Joe. So nothing's gonna stop me from supporting any HasLab they do. Pretty much at this point. So yeah, Lenny and Chris this week. Chris from engineering, of course, Lenny Panzica, the designer extraordinaire. They showed off the ejector seats, the blast effects from the ejector seats. Very cool. All in grayscale, of course. Removable panel for the parachute storage. It was also removable panels for engineering for how the guns work on this one. They modernized it so the guns
a lot of fun stuff
under the nose this time. It's more realistic. And then there's cockpit details, of course, that they showed off the control stick and the pedals for the flight and everything. And then an easier entry. They did not say whether the 25th line toys would fit in, or at least one pilot. That was a major concern for people that all of a sudden don't want O-ring. G.I. Joe fans don't know what they want. They just want to be heard. But what do they really want? Oh, we want O-ring. We want O-ring. Storm Shadow Snake Eyes 2-pack never sold out. $40, right, for 2 O-rings. They weren't having it. And then of course 230 here. This thing's trickling along at 5,000. What do we got here? 5,592. So it's doing better than a Rancor, but it needs 10K. Never mind the stuff. So quick question before I go further, KJ. Do we have a chance here? Does the Sky Striker, is it going to land on the USS flag or what?
Maybe, because you're talking about an entirely new ecosystem for a lot of collectors. Like a lot of what brought people into collecting in the last 2 years were the 6-inch figures, right? Like we've seen other lines fail before. Overwatch, Jazzwares Fortnite that Hasbro took over. I mean, that's still going strong, but it won't for much longer. So not everything is guaranteed just because it's intricately detailed, lovingly made. It looks fantastic. Like I said myself, like I would get the Sky Striker, but just even as a display piece, I know me, that wouldn't be enough for me. I would track down the retro collection figs. Hell, I'd probably get 25th anniversary. I'd probably go back and get Pursuit of Cobra and Retaliation figs, Joy Toy, Haya toys. Like there's a lot of great stuff going on with 3 3/4, 118 scale right now. And if I want to keep collecting what I'm collecting, I can't even put that toe in the water. So I don't know. I want it to succeed. I want people to get this. But it's just hard times right now.
Yeah. I also think, I mentioned this in the chat yesterday. I also think that G.I. Joe fans cross over to Star Wars, but I don't feel like Star Wars fans really cross over to G.I. Joe. Yeah. So you think, and I'm seeing people plead like, okay, cancel your Rancor, right? But jump on the Sky Striker, but the numbers are not showing that. The comments are not showing that. And then we're getting negative stuff. Also, shout out to Emily Bader. She's been tremendous as the lead face of this marketing team. Follow her. I think it's Mighty Morphin Emily. She gave us a side-by-side comparison, kind of a teaser of the 3 generations of the Sky Striker and stuff like that. But they said after Thanksgiving, they're going to go into it. So maybe we'll get a fan first G.I. Joe just focused on the Sky Striker. With all the stretch goals, though, I'm not sure. They may just keep rolling out the social media and kind of fingers crossed, but we'll have to see with Joe, right? So that's it. Both of these HasLabs have 2 weeks left. If you're interested, go get that Sky Striker because I want it. Rancor, I don't care. All right, KJ, let's talk about what we canceled. We'll stick with Hasbro. Start off, I believe, is Mighty Morphin time.
Yeah. And also shout out to Emily Bader. I think it's more phenomenally Emily.
There you go.
So you type, yeah. I was stoked about the Ninjetti Warriors. I love the Power Rangers movie. I love how they integrated those elements into the show because they had to get their money's worth, right? And I love that they had the Tingle Warriors. So I was going to get like 5 Tingle Warriors. I am a troop builder. Troop building addiction is real. I have the Ultrons to prove it. But I will say that I was looking forward to getting those. They look very well put together, Friends of mine who got them had nothing but the best things to say about them. They were troop building Tinga warriors. So with those Ninjetti Power Rangers, I was gonna definitely have them. I was gonna have my old school MMPR versus the putties, had the Ninjettis versus the Tingas. It's like I had a plan. I had it all planned out. But
You always do.
but I am broke AF. Hashtag broke AF.
Yep.
So in Entertainment Earth was like, good news. We got your Tinga Warriors. They're on the way. I was like, bad news. I don't have a cent in my account. Cancel it. So I don't know if I'll be able to get them back. I don't know if I'll be able to get them back at that price because they were $19.99. I had a coupon that saved money at Entertainment Earth, but getting them back again, I don't know if the price range is going to keep increasing. $22.99. Who knows? I'm seeing stuff for $24.99. The Imperial Troopers are back at Big Bad Toy Store. $24.99. I got mine for like $15 a piece. I got so many, I took 8 back. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like troop building addiction is real. So I had to cancel a lot of troop builds. And the Tingle Warriors, that's the one I'm highlighting because those are the ones I wanted the most. And canceling those, frankly, made a lot of other troop builds easier to cancel.
Yeah, exactly. With the incoming alley vipers and bats, but we will save that for another episode. We could cry about that for the next hour. There's 2 ways to go about it. I did read a comment today that someone said collecting now feels like DLC. I'm sick of looking at my Amazon shop, like the list, or I could just pay the extra couple bucks for BBTS and not have to worry about it. Yeah. So it's kind of like the dilemma we go through. As you always mention in the chat, man, struggle is real. But sticking with ninjas, I had to say goodbye to Jinsakai. Ghost of Tsushima, the lead hero. I haven't played this game in, I don't know, a year, 2 years. Do I really need a figure of a toy? I haven't played. This is what happens when we have cancel with delays and boat shipment problems and stuff. $120 figure. They could have had that in their pocket. They're losing it because I haven't played this damn game in so long. Same thing. Last year, I canceled Final Fantasy VII Remake. I bought Cloud and I bought Tila. Is it Tina? Tina.
Tila.
Yeah, Tila. So anyway, both gone. Canceled it because I'm like, I haven't played this game. Same thing. I haven't played the game in a year. It's out of my mind. Do I need to spend $100 each on action figures of the game? No, could be legacy, but right now, as we're cutting costs, had to hit the chopping block.
I feel you on that, man, because a lot of what we collect, they represent a moment, right? Like I have my Eagle Moss starships because they represented how soothing Star Trek was for me in the beginning of lockdown last March. But the Ghost of Tsushima game just looked amazing. My roommate was showing it off on his PlayStation 5, looked fantastic. I myself started collecting different samurai. So I mean, I'm in. Like I'm gonna get that Jinsakai because I have plans for it. And the truth is, even though these things they're up there, right? So the way that I collect is I'm gonna finish stuff off. So I'm keeping that Jinsakai. 12 World has a great Tsushima Island base straight out the game that's gonna go great with it. But after that, it's like I really have to justify that money. And that's why I canceled the Tingle Warriors, because I'm not going to cancel the Jinsakai, because I've already started that Samurai collection. Shout out to Articulated Icons. Like I was getting relatively cheaper Samurai and Ninjas just so Jinsakai could cut them to pieces and beat them up. Right?
Gotcha. Also, I didn't include it in my notes, but because of the announcement of Storm Shadow, I sold my Articulated Icons Ninja. Some people are going to hold on to it, but the thing is, once that Storm Shadow is released, you are not going to get $60 for your Articulated Icons toy that you paid $75+ for. You are going to get nothing, maybe $20. You'll end up with, after fees, it's a total loss. So you can hold on to it, have that temporary Storm Shadow in your collection, or ditch it now and pray that the thing gets shipped quick. Sticking with video games, KJ, you canceled 1,000 Toys Halo.
Man, yeah, dude, I wanted that Master Chief. In fact, if you look at D Amazing's YouTube account right now, he has an excellent, painful to watch review of the 1,000 Toys Master Chief Mjolnir 117 figure. It was an arm and a leg. I got the exclusive version from Big Bad Toy Store. I think Entertainment Earth already has it, but it's the PX previews exclusive with the red plasma sword. It would have been $160, $170. I had to cut it It's like I had to prioritize my collection. And these collections, they're fluid, right? You know, like you said it yourself, like they represent a moment in time. You hadn't played Ghost of Tsushima in over a year. You hadn't played Final Fantasy VII Remake. I have all these different Marvel Legends. Here's my Sam Wilson Captain America and buying the wave to complete the entire wingsuit, right? But how long ago was that show? Now I have $150 out of my pocket. Love the figure. And keep in mind, Hasbro also wants to sell me a new 2-pack that gives me the same exact figure minus the wings, but with a worthy cap.
Which
So
is funny because I think one of the things that you mentioned I canceled was Endgame cap. I had it in my pile of loot, but I'd rather get the new sculpt of Chris Evans. And then I looked at it and it was like, for 20 more bucks, I'm going to get the new face sculpt of Anthony Mackie. And then with the body, I could just turn that into a Joe, just paint it green or something. And then, have fodder for Joe. So I felt like the 2-pack was good value for me because I didn't already have the Endgame cap and I had it on pre-order. So I was like, I'll use that pile of loot money for something else.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I use my pile of loot money on Cad Bane or that kind of thing.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a bit. Speaking of G.I. Joe, Super 7 Wave 1 Ultimate, a real American hero.
Yeah, you went in on that.
How, but I got my money back from Super 7. They don't do it. They were nice enough to do it because it gave me about $330 back in my bank account after a month of not getting too many gigs. And then I also had an extra bat in there, and I don't want it now with the bats from Classified.
Right.
I'm going to army build those. I'm okay now with Super 7 getting one of each, just to have, I might even just keep them in the box or maybe mess around with them. I don't need to army build $55 figures. That was kind of a mistake. And so I reordered that in the Wave 2. Wave 2 looks amazing. Love it. Power couples, right? So yeah, with Wave 2, how good that was. I reordered it, but of course it's not going to come out of my account till next year, probably the middle of next year, late next year. And I saved about $55 plus $18 in money shipping going BBTS. So don't buy things direct, people. Like, I know it's like weird that we're buying things from third party. You'd figured it'd be worse, but it's much better. BBTS, Entertainment Earth, Dorkside, the way to go. Let's get into DC World. We're in episode 52, the new 52.
New 52.
Talk about some DC stuff. You said you canceled the Infinite Crises.
There's the Superboy Prime from McFarlane Toys, and that was part of a wave with Lobo, Reverse Flash. I canceled all of those. The only one I ended up keeping was the Lex Luthor in the green power suit because I wanted exactly that Lex Luthor for a long time to go up against my Superman. But I had to cancel everything else. I was excited about the Build-A-Horse wave from Dark Knight Returns with the Kerry Robin and that Joker in the white suit, the chunky Frank Miller style. Like, it was such a tribute to that classic graphic novel, but I had to cancel it. I had to keep that money in my account. I already have Balius from Four Horsemen, the shout out to Mythic Legions. So it would have been nice to put those two horses up against each other. There were sales on Target. I could have gotten those back into my account, and I still had no money. An empty bank account doesn't care what's on sale. So I had to, a couple of paydays later, I finally saved up my money. But I have family. I have gift cards I want to send out. I have games I want to send them.
Yeah, it's Christmas time. Yeah,
exactly. A lot of this shit can go to a toy drive. It can go to Tots. Like, a lot of the fodder fuel I was going to use, I can put into a toy drive box. So I really had to reevaluate what I'm collecting and why, which is why I wanted to highlight, that Jin Sakai was my centerpiece for a samurai ninja feudal Japan collection that I was not going to give up because I've already invested so much, but I'm probably not going to get much else afterwards.
Sweet. Yeah. Speaking of McFarlane, I'm a big Swamp Thing fan ever since the Alan Moore run.
Ooh, you canceled it?
Grew up with the television show, loved the movies and how creepy B movie they were. Had to say bye to the Bayou, man. It looked far too big in scale. I don't know what I'd do with it. It just doesn't look. I know he's a big character, but it's almost like double the size of Batman. And they're already at 7 scale, so it's also very expensive, $50. Yeah, I know. Vlad and I made fun of the reindeer horns, and we're like, oh, we'll stick with the regular one. I'm not even sticking with that one. I'm gonna wait for. I don't know. I'm kind of praying for a Mezco Swamp Thing. We kind of need some new media though, in order for a demand of a Swamp Thing figure. But yeah, I had to say bye to that. I do want to insert some news though. McFarlane did release the Gotham Knights video game, Batman Gotham Knights, Nightwing, Tim Drake, Robin, Batgirl, Red Hood. I think these look amazing. Will I buy them? Probably not, because they're a video game tie-in. And again, once the game is gone, you're kind of stuck with 4 figures, but they do look great. Maybe if there's a sale, Black Friday,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. But I do wanted to show them on screen. They look. I know Robert's all about that. So very cool. We'll skim up. All right, here we go. Hobby Link. Hobby Link was nice enough to refund me for the SH Fig Arts, the Suicide Squad Harley Quinn. I was really
man,
excited.
you wanted that one a lot.
Really excited for it. Face sculpt looked great. It was strange because the preview pictures showed no weapons, and when we think Harley Quinn, we think crazy weapons like giant mallets and shotguns and machine guns and all, you know, all kind of knives and everything. So we got, yeah, Disney, AT&T has this new thing where, you know, it's
Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers, right? But it's AT&T merger that's really doing
Yeah,
that.
but they're selling it to Discovery, so AT&T won't be Warner Brothers corporate daddy for too much longer.
Okay.
But whatever that edict came from, I know what you're talking about, the no weapons.
Either way,
weird.
yeah, we're getting, if you notice, a lot of international stuff. You're not seeing weapons in the hands of figures, especially guns. They're not even coming with weapons. They just the toys we just talked about. Red Hood, known for having, you know, 2 Colt 45, 2 Magnum pistols. Nothing. So, you know, that's why we love people like Gridiron and so, and we'll talk about that in 1 second. But yeah, the face, I watched videos, and this thing was already in my like private warehouse for Hobby Link. So it was already, you know, it was already released in the private warehouse. Thankfully, I was patient, didn't ship it. Plus, those international shipping prices are skyrocketing. They're not doing small packet right now.
It's crazy, yeah.
They're crazy. This figure would have cost me $80 with no accessories, 2 head sculpts, and they did not look that good. And this is a problem I'm hearing with Mafex, but especially SH Fig Arts, is you don't always exactly get the digital render or the early renders. Yeah, I mean, you've shown stuff off. Yeah. Who is that? Yeah,
that is Heather Locklear as Marvel's Rescue.
Yeah, I didn't think they looked bad, especially the more content, but Harley Quinn's a crazy character, and the more like serene face looked better than the crazy one. I'm like, yeah, this is not worth the $56 plus internationally shipping. They were like, we can only give you 85% store credit. And then I made some like, oh, I'm jobless, I have kids, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And they were like, all right, we'll give you your money back 85%. And I was like, yeah, I'd rather get the 47 back plus the shipping that I would have paid than have this figure. I'll have to be patiently wait, and once hopefully soon get a Harley Quinn. Which reminds me, I am selling my Mezco Toys Return of the Baker's Dozen, because all those weapons would have fit her perfectly, but now they don't need her. I have a ton of Gridiron weapons still. I don't need this expansion pack. There is some interest. Weapons, KJ. There you go. Gridirons, love it. Grenade launcher, right?
Shout out to Gridiron. This is, I have this, my Kill Crew Punisher with a motorcycle has this one right now. I have a weapons rack that I was saving for Valaverse Action Force. We're about to get into that in a second. That now belongs to Gridiron. All my gun room armory 112 scale dioramas is going to be outfitted with Gridiron. I cannot wait.
Question: what do you think of the Frogmen? So here's the thing: there's no eels. There's no, they were kind of showing the eel accessories with Beachhead and Cobra Troopers. How do you feel about making kind of wetsuit Cobra Troopers, or you know, what's your take on the Frogmen?
I love it. I cannot wait. I'm going to get 3 of those, 2 for my Cobra Troopers, 1 for Baroness that I can try to turn into a Crimson Strike Team Baroness, where she's swimming underwater during the whole mass device thing where she's trying to get the stuff. Sick. So I'm going to paint that red. I'm going to paint that Baroness red. Paint the flippers red. It's going to be dope. It's going to be dope. Shout out to Anthony Romo, who's a mutual friend of ours. Go to Tony's Figs. Go to Tony's Figs on Instagram. Check out his custom torpedo. He took that Gridiron Frogman pack and made it sing. It is perfect. It is insane. Oh my goodness. Like, out of respect, I don't think I'm going to make a torpedo custom of my own, because I can't come close to it. It's just going to be, I'll see if my Crimson Underwater Baroness can come close to what Anthony Romo did. So once again, shout out to Tony's Figs on IG. But I love Gridiron stuff, man. And Gridiron stuff is not cheap. This shit is not cheap, but it is worth it. It is amazing. Shout out to Yeah, and that goes into your Gears of War figure that we're going to talk about later as well,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But
But
before,
but
oh, go ahead.
no, no, I was just gonna say. So Valaverse, a lot of people had. I'm reading this all over. Bobby Vala's Action Force weapons packs. A lot of people are canceling because we're looking at almost a year and a half delay or year delay, and Gridiron is shipping in 2-3 days and despite the expensive cost. I mean, $15 for a bunch of weapons is a great deal, but if you're never going to get them, you might as well use that $15 for 1 or 2 weapons from Gridiron. So talk Valaverse. I canceled all mine on BBTS, including the Gung Ho Retro Suit. Why? Because Classified gave us an OG Storm Shadow, which means they're going to give us a real American hero Gung Ho.
It's only a matter of time.
Super 7. Yeah. So go ahead, Valaverse. Talk.
Valaverse is I'm of two minds because I started collecting G.I. Joe Classified because of Valaverse's Sergeant Slaughter. Once I saw that 112 Sergeant Slaughter action figure was on the horizon, well, I might as well get some of these G.I. Joe Classified figures. And I picked up the first wave on GameStop. Did not look back. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Oh yes, so you finally were you able to get your Ultimate Edition, or is that the old school Elites?
No, this is the Ultimate Edition. I finally got one.
Yes, that's awesome. I'm so happy. Because I know you sold your Chase version with the black card, so I'm glad that you were able to get one. But anyway, with Valaverse, I wanted to show support. I bought the comic books, I bought stickers, that kind of thing. I just wanted to support the brand. So where you and others had bought Valaverse Action Force figures on Dorkside, Big Bad Toy Store, that kind of thing, I sent all my money direct to CrowdOx. I sent my money directly to Bobby Vala because I wanted to support him directly. And I wanted him to have the funds that he could use for a Series 2 and forward. But like you said, it's been over a year. I think some of the figures are ready to ship out. But like I said, like it's the holiday season. My collecting has taken other turns. So I wrote an email to Valaverse to be like, look, man, here are the orders I have put in. I need to get a refund. I have not heard back. Bobby Vala is usually better about these sort of things. Like he helped us out when we were trying to get different comics from Valaverse.com. I think the CrowdOx situation is a different thing. I don't think I'm going to get my money back. If I do get all those figures, that's a good problem because those figures are going to be amazing. But if I can get the refund, I'll take it because that's money that's been out of my wallet for a year plus now, and I have nothing to show for it save for a few comic books and a prototype weapons pack that honestly fits better with smaller scale figures like SH Figure Arts or something like that.
Yeah, I hate saying it, but when you buy direct, these are the things that happen. So it's thank God for the pre-order system. Just want to jump on SH Fig again, and we talked Star Wars, but they also released a Mandalorian Luke this week, which is bad for Hasbro since that was the 4th tier, because people are like, well, why pay $350 for a Rancor that's probably not going to even reach that goal when I can pay the 72 plus shipping for the soft good cloak, lightsaber extended blade and hilt, that.
Yeah, that's whoosh lightsaber. That is badass.
Man. Yeah, it looks super cool. So yeah, Tamashii Nations had their Tamashii Day. There was a bunch of stuff. This would be like a whole other episode. It was like Gundam and Dragon Ball superhero stuff and Marvel Tech-On and Star Wars, of course, more. There's a Moff Gideon as well. But the ones that stood out to me, I don't know if you were paying attention to Tamashii at all on the Instagram, but Naruto. Okay, we're talking about dropping lines, canceling toys, and this is why, because there's always going to be more stuff that comes out. So the more you cancel, the more you can that money's not going to bills. That money's just going to go to other toys, right? So Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, they look amazing. I mean, it's rare, KJ, you go on social media and you don't see a negative comment. It's usually most of them. It's usually 90%, 80%, at least something. Everybody was floored with these Naruto figures from SH Fig. So
it's come straight from the source. It's straight from the source over in Japan. I mean, like like all the Naruto lore and media mean a lot more over there. So there you go. So they're going to put their foot into it, and they're really going to make a quality figure. They were not misstep when it comes to that, and they do it right. And I think they're going to do it right. They got figures for years. We haven't talked about Shippuden. We haven't talked about Boruto. Like they can keep it going. The movie figures,
Mm.
figures.
Yeah, absolutely. Sticking on that international train, I also canceled Mayfex Mark 85 Iron Man. It was 118 bucks, didn't get charged yet. Plus that international shipping again. If I was going to pay, the $5, $10 shipping, not so bad. Another $20, $30 on top of 118 plus, the tax. For one figure, I can't do that anymore. Mezco's kind of my exception with the $100 figures and I have a couple Mayfex things. I got some coupons on Entertainment Earth, so I'm gonna let that slide. But love the face sculpts with the Iron Man. But again, is that what we're gonna get? It's a digital render. So I might go the eBay route, something you're famous for. I've kind of learned from you. Maybe buy a cheap $10 Marvel Legends Iron Man figure Black Friday and then just go on eBay and pay like $30 for a head sculpt. And then there I got my $40 Iron Man instead of $140 Iron Man. So that's kind of the way, because the face sculpt of Tony, I'm not a big fan of that Marvel Legends, but that's kind of the way I'm going. But you had some Marvel Legends that you canceled. You have a whole list of them. So
man, let me rattle them off super quick. There was so like Sylvie from the Loki shows comes with the cape for the Watcher, but I already have a complete Watcher, so I don't need that. All the Spider-Man No Way Home stuff, the integrated suit, the black and gold suit, I had to cancel those. I did pre-order those on Hasbro Pulse for February, just in case, but I'm probably gonna end up canceling those again because like the second trailer's dope, let's get it, and I'm like, I can't. I'm probably gonna end up canceling those.
Yeah, speaking of Pulse, we've canceled almost everything on Pulse because we find it in Target. So these aren't the cancellations we're talking about, because if we were to talk about canceling something online because we found it at the store, that's a whole other thing. We're talking about just things that we canceled and we're likely never going to get again.
All right, so the 80th anniversary Deadpool, like I was waiting on that for a long time. I still may be able to get it back on Entertainment Earth. We'll see what happens. We'll see what my holiday shopping can make room for. But I think that sucker's gone. And if I'm being real, that's a $19.99 figure, $22.99, but it went from $29.99 to $31.99. It's like there's other figures I'm trying to get, man.
Yeah, so, I hear you. Yeah, I left that one in my pile of loot, I believe, and I'm gonna probably just throw it up there with my other Spider-Man, tack that on the wall, keep it in the pack.
And Spider-Man, if you think you can get those Spider-Man No Way Home figures on shelves, good luck, man. Like, you let me know if you can pull that off. I
saw Doctor Strange today at Target. A couple of them, and actually I saw a bunch of Gamerverse Miles. I was shocked, but there was like 6 to 8 of them at our local Target. And then I saw a couple Doctor Strange. I already have the Miles, so skipping that Strange for the Walmart comic version. Sticking with BTS, of course, I'm keeping my 80th Deadpool there. And reiterating Mayfex, I said goodbye to the Dark Knight Batman, Christian Bale Batman, and Heath Ledger Joker. They're cool, but $80 each. Don't need another Batman, or I really don't even have a definitive Joker. And Joker's like one of my favorite characters ever. But if I'm not going to get the Batman, I'm not going to get the Joker. That $160 in the pile of loot credit went towards my Storm Collectibles, Evil Ryu, and Kung Lao. And I just got notifications from both that there's finally
good
gonna be hitting my pile of loot soon, so then I can kind of ship a pile of loot that was big and now is kind of just down to 3 or 4 things. We talked McFarlane already. All right, let's finish off with Transformers. You canceled Galvatron.
Man, Galvatron's my favorite Transformer. That was my favorite toy. I had Galvatron versus everybody, versus Power Rangers, versus Ninja Turtles. It was like you had to fight Galvatron. And I wanted that toy colors. I have the other Galvatron right now. I wanted that gray toy colors Galvatron, and I was not able to secure it. It was on Entertainment Earth, and I could have gotten it there too, and I had to cancel that one as well. I may end up having to cancel the PulseCon Galvatron, or what I call Galvatron Legacy. But it's I had to pick and choose. I can't do what a lot of other collectors are fortunate to do, because I'm either here in LA and I had to send that money elsewhere, or I don't have the space because I don't have a house because I'm in LA.
Right.
That kind of thing. Like it's a lot of Sophie's choices. And when you make the hard ones, it makes everything else easier. I have to say there is that silver lining.
Yeah, I was talking about that exactly with what's a big, like, toy regret? So it's like one of these toy lines, you just know you're not going to get anything if you sell it. And you could hold on to it for a long time, but then you realize the media attached to it didn't really go anywhere. And then that's Transformers, man. I'm a big Transformers fan. I started off, I think, with Earthrise, like the zombie cell. It was an Amazon exclusive, Optimus Prime. I was like, that's cool. That'll be a one-off, right? And then Hasbro quite kindly sends me a sample pack, and it just led to, and I've mentioned this on the show, hundreds. And I'm like, here's the deal with Transformers. They're a lot of work. They're fun. They're awesome. You get 2 figures for the price of 1, and that's why they're so expensive, because you get vehicle mode and you get robot mode. But sitting there for a half hour, sometimes it takes 10 seconds, sometimes it takes 20 minutes to change your robot to a vehicle. That's a lot of time. Where GI Joe, you kind of just move it, give it a different gun, give it a different head. It's a lot easier to do than the robots, and they're taking up a lot of room, especially they did the 3 trilogy. So I am saying goodbye to Transformers after Kingdom, and they just keep coming out. And of course, we got Blaster with Eject, Pipes, Slammer. The new images were revealed. I canceled my Golden Disc collection because I don't know what it is. I think I mentioned it on a prior show, but that Amazon it was like 4 days in a row of like things. I think I've canceled all of them for now. And yeah, that I had to say goodbye to that, trimming the fat. So after War for Cybertron, no more Transformers besides the 86 line, because they trickle slowly, but had to say goodbye to that. Let's talk what we did get recently. Do you have anything to show off in your weekly plunder?
I do, man. First of all, shout out to my homies. My boy Jimmy C gave me this shirt, and it's awesome. And my homie Corey, who is on Toystalgia on Instagram, was kind enough to gift me this Snake Eyes in Timber pack. It is beautiful. I've been watching everybody playing with it and taking photos of it.
Per month.
I pre-ordered mine from Best Buy.
Yep.
It never showed up. I'm still waiting for that pre-order because I spent a coupon on it, and I can probably customize it to make it look like the Sunbow stuff, like the Snake Eyes from the Ultimates. Like, so if I get that one, that'd be awesome. But I don't know if it's coming at this point. So I'm really glad to have this and to show off with the rest of my Joes fairly soon. So very glad about that.
Yeah, I'm just glad you're not doing an unboxing of an old toy. So it's a joke we have on a toy kind of. So yeah, I got one thing off eBay. I got some mixed feelings about this, right? So I'm like, all right, canceling a lot of toys because I went and got, we talked about the Alien NECA pack you canceled, right? You still got that canceled. So I got that coming. I'm like, who's going to go against my aliens? Sooner or later, maybe G.I. Joe, but definitely some, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know what I mean? So we're going with Dutch. We're going to have Predator. We're going to have aliens. We're going to have a Master Chief we talked about earlier. And I thought a perfect person to go against those aliens and Predators would be Marcus Phoenix. So here's the box, right? Okay, cool. And maybe this will work this time. Let's see, we got, all right, the accessories. Hopefully they don't fall everywhere. Lots of cool stuff. It's going to fall. But
and this is Storm, right? This is Storm.
Storm collectibles, dude. So I think Storm collectibles, usually they're pretty expensive. The Mortal Kombat figures are like 70, 80.
Yeah, they're up there. But they used to be cheaper. So what you got, that Gears of War, is what a lot of Storm collectible figures used to be.
There we go. Yeah, some cool head sculpts. This is the original one from Gears of War. So the NECA face sculpt for this actually looks way better, but as a figure, this is better. And so I gave him, just for now, he's just kind of holding on to my gridiron. He's got the saw, ultimate saw gun, but this one actually has 3 different pieces that you can multiply. This will not, I actually love the Lancers that come with it. So he will have the Lancer, but he's just kind of holding on until we get those damn dreadnoughts. But yeah, I actually love Gears of War 5. That face sculpt is, look at that. That is beautiful. So here's the deal. So I got it, right? Immediately this leg fell off.
Ooh.
Then look, there's an issue here. And I was like, oh, eBay, I got scammed. But the box was sealed. So I wrote the guy a letter and said, I don't want to give you a negative review. He had 100% and a lot of reviews. So I said, I don't want to just badmouth you, give you a negative review. He said it was sealed. They said it was a Storm collectibles issue. I actually believe him. But yeah, there's some kind of weird thing here where it took me about 15 minutes this thing fell in. I had to
Mm.
like get a pair of tweezers, and it was dark. And I'm scared to take this head sculpt
Do
off and
you
put the other one on.
use a hair dryer, man? Heat it up. Use a
Yeah,
hair dryer, heat it up, and that should help. But
but
still use the tweezers after you heat it up. Yeah.
yeah, and also the hands. I have to. He's using these weird, uh, gun pointing hands because the other hands are so big that I can't actually use gridiron weapons with him unless I use these fingers. So, um, yeah, these trigger finger hands are too big, but they will fit with the Lancer guns. So it's once he gets rid of this and I give him back his bloodied Lancers, they do come with a lot of cool accessories. So I am really happy for $50 shipped. Good luck getting this for $50 shipped. I've been looking at this for a week, and some people are selling it 80, 50 plus 15. So yeah, I did get a good deal. But yeah, we have a little bit of some issues, but the leg sense hasn't been too bad. So I'm okay with it. A
Mhm.
little bit of a toy review here, but yeah, Marcus Phoenix, Xbox, big week for Xbox with the Series X 20th anniversary. And I was feeling the pride as an Xbox fan, and I wanted more stuff to show off. So that's the beauty of canceling, KJ. We can cancel a lot of stuff and kind
Move
of
it somewhere else. Yeah.
dive into things we don't never thought we needed before. But that was cancel culture, KJ. You got any final thoughts before we head off? So that KJ, that's episode 52, cancel culture. We dove in through the HasLabs, everything we personally canceled, some new items and stuff. Any closing thoughts before we head off?
Yeah. It's great to have an active toy collection, but also make sure that it represents you fully for the person like you are now and not necessarily a year ago. So you might be into different things. There might be something that speaks to you more than the hot item that everyone else is getting. So just leave room for it and leave room for other things too. I cancel a lot of stuff that let me go to the movies. It let me go out and eat out with friends. So there's more to it than this plastic figure life that we're doing. So make room for other things too, and don't do anything that you would regret. Don't have regrets, don't have stress. So you might have to cancel some shit. Yeah.
I I thought ironically the most expensive toy line that we do collect, again, we don't generally mess with Hot Toys, Sideshow Collectibles, Diamond Collectibles, is Mezco Toys, and we didn't cancel any Mezco toys for two reasons. Number one, they asked for a deposit. You ain't getting that money back.
Non-refundable, baby. Yeah.
Non-refundable deposit, but I'm giving them credit. They're smart, right? Once you make that, once you hit that button, if you're okay just donating $25 of them to get
Yeah.
your money back, might be worth it to get the $100 back. But also, it really speaks to the quality of Mezco toys. I don't really want to. I may have, but I really don't want to cancel my pre-orders, and I have a lot. They're all delayed. I think Fabio Fabster did a wonderful kind of on his IG kind of a timeline of everything we're getting. Hopefully next year it's going to be
Yeah.
a lot, but it also
Yeah.
speaks to the quality of the line. I've canceled things to buy more Mezco. I'm getting a
Yep.
Predator, I'm getting an Alien, I'm buying all the new Spider-Man 2099. There's a lot of Mezco coming, and we're going to speak Mezco. So it's kind of funny. I just thought we canceled all these high price items, but the
Mhm.
most expensive items we have, we did
Yeah.
not cancel. I thought that was awesome. So
Yeah, man.
yeah,
I have a lot of Mezco stuff on the horizon, and that I'm trying to save up enough money for, so I don't have to cancel those things. Right? Ultraman, the Justice League stuff, which is a perfect example of how much do you really want to invest for something. But I was riding for Cut for years, so I'm glad that it came out. So I'm willing to wait the extra year to get those figures in my collection for Mezco. And my first Mezco figure was the Justice League Batman, and that'll be like a nice, cool, full circle moment.
yeah, exactly. And that's like another form of media that's so like we're waiting so long for figures from a form of media that's, again, it feels like a year ago or 6 to 8 months ago, and it's not really that relevant. But the figures are amazing. I think they're so good. The Zack Snyder Justice League figures. So I thought that was an interesting
Yeah,
bit. But anyway, episode 52.
yeah.
We'll see you soon. A toy kind of mood for KJ Travis Moody. Peace.
Peace.
All right.
All right. So here's the deal. I think, yeah, opening the door helped out a lot when we were doing that. Opening the forbidden door. Um, You can stop the recording.
Oh,
It's just less stuff for Bobby to.
oh, here we go.